Hello and welcome to NB Drives. My name is Nishmanya. Today I'm driving the Mercedes-Maybach S-Class and I'm so excited. I know this is the previous generation model, but this is the facelifted version of it, and I've always loved the styling of this generation a little more than I do the current one. So I'm extremely excited to get behind the wheel of this car and test out all its luxury and comfort features. I'll also tell you what it's like to drive on our roads, and more importantly, what it's like to be chauffeured around in this amazing limousine. So stay tuned for the entire review and we'll get into it. Okay, before we get into this review, I just want to reiterate the fact that this is the facelifted version of the previous gen Maybach S650 that was launched back in 2018. And this, in my opinion, is a great thing, as the W22 generation, as is internally known, that was sold between 2016 and late 2021, is one of my most favorite generations of the S-Class. There's just something about the looks of this gen that perfectly blends timeless and modern styling. Look at that wide chrome grille with the thin vertical bars and prominent Maybach lettering in the center. There's even a bespoke Maybach hood ornament to ensure you know this isn't just a regular S-Class. I also love these LED headlights and the 3 daytime running light elements in them that flows effortlessly with the overall design. These, by the way, were new additions with the facelift, as was the more understated front bumper. Moving on to the profile, the silhouette of this gen Maybach S-Class looks great. There's a long hood that neatly merges into the soft shoulder line, and the flowing roof line does the same with the boot. Mercedes has also provided a sharper character line that extends back from the headlights to the rear doors to break up the visual mass a bit. There are also 3 ways to differentiate the Maybach from the regular S-Class on the side. First up, there's the obvious Maybach logo on the C-pillar, so this is fairly easy to replicate on the standard model. Second is the thick chrome strip that encases the windows and curves up at the C-pillar instead of remaining flat like on the regular S-Class. And third is the 207mm longer wheelbase than the long wheelbase S-Class. These latter 2 points will prove much harder to replicate. Can you also say how lovely these 19-inch split 5-spoke alloy wheels look and how well they fill the wheel arches on this luxury sedan? There isn't a whole lot on the rear of the Maybach to help differentiate it from the regular S-Class apart from the Maybach lettering on the left of the boot and the Mercedes-Maybach logo in the center. The taillights still look very classy with the 3 prominent LED elements which were introduced with the facelifted model integrating into the design seamlessly. And oh boy, if you love chrome, there is plenty more on the bumper, with a thin strip between the reflectors and more around the exhaust, which by the way are just finisher pieces, not the actual exhaust tips. And even the area between the exhaust is finished in chrome. On the whole, I personally still believe that this is the nicer looking generation of the Mercedes-Maybach S-Class. Though feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love this generation's dashboard design. It's got this wonderful waterfall-like design. And Mercedes has done a great job with the black piano finish with the pinstripes, which in person looks so classy. Also, I love this quilted leather finish on the dashboard. Everything you touch is soft touch, wrapped in leather, and just oozes quality. And everything feels very well built, be it the cover for the cup holders, or the center console, which has a very nifty feature that allows you to open it from either side. So I can either open it like this, or I can press it and open it like this, which is so convenient because it gives both the driver and passenger access to the central armrest. And As you know, this still has the older twin screen layout. These neither of them are touchscreens. So there's a whole host of functionality in the driver's display, which you can see now. This digital instrument cluster can display a lot of detail, from the range to the driving efficiency to your real-time mileage on the left window, to the date, map or distance to empty, and even a G-force meter on the right-hand side window, with the center having a circular tachometer with a digital speed readout and a fuel level indicator in the middle. If you don't fancy this design, you can always change the look of the instrument cluster to add a more traditional look with the classic mode or a more driver-focused look with the sports mode. And for the central touchscreen, everything you do is from this rotary command center in the middle. So you can handle all your home functions. You go down here, use the dial to rotate through all the different settings on your screen. So you hit enter, you can look around the map, you can go back out to your vehicle settings, and here you have a whole host of things for your seat controls. You can adjust your lumbar and heat settings. Back out of it, these are your climate controls, where you can sync all zones. You can start the inbuilt air freshener, and you can even customize the massage functions for this car, which is really cool. There are two settings right here, refresh and vitality, which are quite comfortable. And you can also customize the individual settings for your car setup. So that goes everything from your engine, which you can move from eco to comfort to sport or adjust it manually. Suspension, which again has comfort and sport. Then your steering, which changes the weight of the steering from light to quite sporty and slightly heavy when you put it in sport. I'll leave that in comfort for now. And your ESP, which in sport lets you have a little more fun with the car, but honestly, you wouldn't really have a lot of fun pushing this car very hard because it's really good at cruising. I also have to make a mention of this outstanding Burmester 3D surround sound system, which, along with being one of the best speaker systems I've probably ever heard in a car, is also got these really cool speakers that rotate out when you start the car. The ambient lighting on the Maybach is also very tastefully done, and it really livens up the cabin, especially at night. Getting into the rear of the Maybach is quite an event. It's got these massive rear doors because there's the long wheelbase version of the car. And what's really cool about them is they've got a soft close function. So all you have to do is get it close and it'll do the rest for you. Now I'm quickly going to pop around on the other side. Now look at this rear seat. It is so spacious. I have acres of legroom ahead of me and so much headroom above me. And that's not all. There is so much adjustment out here at the rear. For starters, I can recline my backrest, so you can see it sink away. To make it more comfortable on my rides home after a tiring day, I can lift up the leg rest here. And there it goes, nice and easy. I can slide the front seat forward, get it all the way out of the way right from these controls itself, so that I can stretch out. I'm a tall person, and yeah, let me just stretch out the ottoman all the way, and oh man, that is comfy to the next level. And I absolutely love the rear seats of this car. There are other things. You can control these blinds all electronically. So all I have to do is drop the windows down. The shades cannot be dropped separately, as you can see. I can also open my own sunroof, which is up here on the rear. All I have to do is press a button here, and there we go. There's a nice tinted sunroof so that I don't get affected by direct sunlight. I can shut that back up. And at the rear, I also have a rear sunblind that's electronically operated. And before I forget to mention, these pillows on the headrest are supremely comfortable. You really have to try them to understand how comfy they are. Also note that the rear left passenger gets a dedicated button to enter boss mode, which pushes the front seat forward as far as it can go, extends the ottoman and reclines the chair. You can also drop the center part of the rear bench to give the passenger the center armrest with extra storage, 2 cup holders and even a wireless charger. Rear occupants also get their own individual zone climate controls as well as 2 large high-definition entertainment screens. Both the rear passengers also get an illuminated vanity mirror to see how they look en route to their important meetings. Another cool thing about the rear moonroof is that it's electrochromatic, meaning it can go from opaque to clear with just a push of a button. And for those of you that are curious, the front sunroof is also electrochromatic and it can even open and close electronically. Under the hood, this luxury barge comes equipped with the 4-litre twin-turbo V8 petrol engine we have seen in a number of other AMG performance models. While there's still plenty of performance offered by this unit here, as it makes a very respectable 469 horsepower and 700 Nm of torque, there is a far greater emphasis on refinement levels here instead of just outright performance. Honestly, there isn't even the burble you'd expect from the Mercedes V8 from the exhaust. It is so quiet. Power is sent to the rear wheels via a 9-speed automatic gearbox that is silky smooth when changing between cogs. It's not as fast as the AMG tuned gearboxes we've seen, though it's not slow by any standards either. Do note there's also a 6-litre turbocharged V12 engine on offer with the Maybach S-Class. However, that was on the pre-facelift S600 and the facelifted S650 variants. There's no hiding the fact that the Maybach S-Class is designed with a focus on the rear seats. That said, it isn't going to be a bad experience for the chauffeur either. While the V8 under the hood might not be as noisy and boisterous as in some of the other performance marques, there is still more than enough power available on tap. Mercedes has made sure to tune the throttle to provide a linear response regardless of which driving mode you're in. But there's a definite increase in the sense of urgency from the throttle when you put it in sports mode. You can almost think of the power delivery as being effortless, as regardless of the speed you're going at or the gear you're in, the powertrain responds quickly and builds speed at a brisk pace. This means the 0 to 100 kph time comes up in just 4.9 seconds, and this S-Class Maybach goes on to hit a top speed of 250 km/h. The steering also has 2 modes to choose from, with the car defaulting to the comfort mode, which is so light that you barely require any effort to operate it. This makes the nearly 18-foot long luxury sedan relatively easy to maneuver in the city, which is an insane thought. This is also aided by the fact that the driver has good visibility from this Maybach. Put the steering in sport mode and it becomes more weighty, offering more confidence to the driver while driving at higher speeds or when cornering. But as I alluded to before, it's actually the rear seats that you really want to be in. So here in the back of the Mercedes-Maybach, there is just so much comfort on offer. The first thing that hits you is how quiet the cabin is. It's literally whisper quiet, and I think it is the most quiet cabin I've been in till date. So that definitely helps with its refinement levels. Even the V8 under the hood doesn't make a whole lot of noise in this variant. So that's another thing that makes it a little less noisy. And then of course, if we talk about the ride, we are currently driving on fairly broken sections of it. It's not broken, but it is tiled. So it isn't as smooth as regular tarmac, yet I'm hardly getting tossed around. And the ride on the whole is quite comfortable. Like, the suspension is dealing with all the minor imperfections really well, and it feels fairly supple. So there's very little filtering into the cabin. And of course, these seats are supremely comfortable and they help cocoon you and also sort of coddle you into feeling extremely comfortable and relaxed. And of course, like I showed you guys before, you can just recline and enjoy the ride. The Airmatic air suspension fitted to this Maybach is superbly well tuned. It dampens all the small road imperfections really well, and even the larger ones are hardly felt in the cabin. This also benefits the ride quality of the car, as low-speed ride is supple and high-speed ride deals with road undulations very well, with minimal vertical movement being introduced into the cabin. And there's also the added benefit of the ability to stiffen up the suspension just by the press of a button on the dashboard, which helps the car improve its cornering ability many-fold. However, you'll largely leave this mode untouched, especially if it's going to be chauffeur driven majority of the time. To sum up this entire experience, I had a blast riding around and driving this Mercedes-Maybach S660. It gets so much attention out on our roads and it looks so elegant. And there's even a real sense of quality in everything that you touch inside. Though I know that one of the biggest criticisms thrown towards this generation of the Maybach was the fact that it was too similar to the S-Class. Now, on the surface, it definitely would appear so because the design isn't drastically different and the interiors also have majority of the same features that the S-Class did. But there's just something about the fit and finish and the extra attention to detail given to this car that really makes it feel a notch higher than the S-Class when you spend some time in it. And honestly, it is one of the best luxury cars you can buy at its price point, which sounds counterintuitive considering it had a hefty price tag of over 2 crores. But when you consider that its closest rival comes from a car maker like Rolls-Royce or Bentley, that definitely does seem like quite a bargain. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this latest episode of the Dream Cars series. I know I had a blast filming this Mercedes-Maybach S560. Now, I really want to apologize to you guys for the delay in this video. I know it's been 2 weeks since I last uploaded. I had some technical errors with my working rig, but that's all sorted. So videos should be coming in quite frequently from now onwards. And I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on this Mercedes-Maybach in the comment section below, as well as what your favorite luxury sedan is in India right now. If you enjoyed watching this video, do hit that like button, consider subscribing, and do share this video with anyone else who you think would like this sort of automotive content. There's plenty more content headed your way. My next video will go live next Friday, so keep an eye out for that and I'll catch you later. Cheers!